All right, so we're going to take a look at Chapter 1, Section 3, Ethical Basis for Laws. Here are a couple of the major terms that we have for this section, so if you want to pause and write those down, you certainly can. All right, so taking a look at Section 3, the Ethical Basis for Laws, the goals that we have for this section, number one, we will define what ethics are. We will compare and contrast consequences-based ethics and rule-based ethics. And we'll discuss ways in which ethics are reflected in the laws that we have. All right, so taking a look at the first section, so ethics in the law. So the basic forms of ethical reasoning, when we're taking a look at ethics, ethics is deciding what is right and what is wrong in a reasoned and impartial manner. So basically what that means is you decide based on the society that you live in what is right and what is wrong. Now, there can be a lot of gray areas when you're talking about ethics, and some of the ethical based decisions that we have carry over to the laws that we have created. So when you're taking a look at ethics, a lot of the ethics that we have are based in some sort of historical background that we have, something that we hold to be true, some evidence of different types of ethics that are based around our nation and around the world. A lot of different religions that you would have some sort of ethics, code of ethics that they would use. So that you could use the Torah, the Bible, or the Quran as an example. So just what the book has, a person might reason, I believe that God is the source of the Bible, and the Bible tells me not to lie. Therefore, it would be wrong or unethical for me to lie. So looking through ethics, it's just going through the process of understanding what is right and what is wrong based on your own personal opinions or of the opinions of the society in which you live. Okay, so taking a look at the basic forms of ethical reasoning. Ethical reasoning is taking a look at two steps mostly. So the first form is looking at the consequences that you would have. So if you do something wrong, is there going to be some sort of consequence for you? Are there going to be consequences for other individuals that you are harming, hurting, different things like that? And the next one we have would be the rules-based ethics. So is something wrong just because you broke the rule? And does it necessarily harm someone if you've done it? Or is it just breaking the rules that are set in place? Okay, so looking at consequence-based ethics a little bit more. Consequences means if you are doing something that is wrong but is for the good of another individual, then it may not be something that is harmful for ethics. It may still be against the law, but it may not be unethical. And there's a big difference when you're looking at some things in that regard. So let's just say, for example, if there is a family that is starving, and let's say as the father of a household, you need to get food for your family. Now, it would be illegal for you to go out and steal food, but is it unethical to go and steal food so that you can feed your family? That is where you'd run into some of the gray areas that you would have with consequence-based ethical reasoning. So you would essentially be saving your family so that you can feed them, and you are taking something from, let's say, a grocery store. Now, you're doing wrong to the grocery store, but overall, you may still be doing more good by saving the individuals in your family. So when you're looking at consequence-based ethical reasoning, you're weighing the good and bad against one another. The next one I have is rule-based ethical reasoning. Rule-based ethical reasoning is looking at if something is wrong just because the rules say it's wrong, or if it's wrong if there's different underlying meanings behind that. So when we're taking a look at if something's wrong, a rules-based ethical reasoning would be you are not allowed to jaywalk because it is against the law. Now, does everyone necessarily agree that if you jaywalk, it's going to harm anyone? If there's no cars coming from either direction, it would still be considered illegal for you to jaywalk. Now, if there is a cop that is sitting down the street and sees you jaywalk, is he going to give you a ticket? Maybe, maybe not. And sometimes cops have to weigh in the ethics as well as the law when they're looking at those as well. Okay, so how ethics are reflected in the law. Under the U.S. system, representatives vote on the different laws that they would have to deem if they are acceptable or not. And a lot of times when you're looking at ethics reflected in the law, they're going to sort of coincide or go along with the laws that are kind of accepted in the different cultures. So if you're looking at some of the ethics that may take place in America, it would be different from some of our other countries around the world. So the ethics that you're looking at, it may just be based on the location that you're at. So the ethics for America, they tend to follow with the Constitution. A lot of the ethics that we have are kind of grounded in religion as well, generally towards like Christianity, and kind of the Ten Commandments types of laws that you would have. So if something is wrong, deemed on the ethics, a lot of times it may be wrong reflected in the law as well. So our checkpoint number 1, in the U.S. system of democracy, how are ethics reflected in the law? All right, moving on to the next part. So if we're looking at the how to prevent legal difficulties for ethics, these are just kind of some of the rules and sort of general ethics that you should follow as a citizen of the United States. So as a citizen, when moving to a new location, you should find out how the laws in that county or city may affect you. So different cities and different counties that you go to will have different laws, and it is your responsibility as a citizen to learn those different laws. Before beginning a new business, consult with an attorney to learn about the city, county, state, and federal laws that you would have and how they may affect you. Again, it is your responsibility to go and find that information. It is not the state, it is not the government to go and give you that information. It is your responsibility to go and find it. Study business law so that you can become an informed citizen who is knowledgeable about legal matters. A lot of times you have protections and rights that you may not know about. It is your responsibility to find those out. There's no one that's going to go out of their way, outside of business law class or something such as that. It's going to go out of their way to help you understand the law. It is your responsibility as a citizen to understand that stuff. Recognize that fulfilling your duties as a citizen is the greatest guarantee of your maintaining your individual rights and liberties. So the different duties that you have that you need to follow. Number 1 is the duty to obey the law. Number 2 is the duty to respect the rights of others. The duty to inform yourself on political issues. So a major issue that's coming up in the near future is we're going to have a presidential election taking place next November. So learning the different political issues so that you become an informed voter. The duty to vote in elections. The duty to serve on juries if called. If you are called to a jury, that is called a summons. The duty to serve and defend your country. And the duty to assist agencies of law enforcement. All right, so that is it for the notes for section 3. What we're going to do to prepare for lecture tomorrow, I would like you to look over questions 1, 2, 3, and 4 on page 19 and be prepared to talk about those in class.